Welcome back to the Puncher's Chance YouTube channel. I'm delighted to be joined by top tier promoter Johnny Clark. Your show was just finished up in Brentwood tonight. How were you feeling after that?
A bit tired. Obviously you get a lot of emotions go through you. My voice always goes. But I'm happy. Yeah, I'm very happy with how it all went.
Yeah, I think you should be very happy. It's the first show we've been to a top tier, and it's probably the best show I've been to be honest with you. How much of a ball ache has it been to try and get it over the line now with some of these fights?
This video can't be long enough for me to tell you everything that happened. Honestly, it's so hard, you know, but always for like a week or two you focus on all the negatives, and then it gets closer and you think, hold on a minute, we've got 16 fighters here that have given it their all, they've done their weight, they've done their medicals, you know. You've got to make them proud, and, you know, you've got to give them, like some people, this might be, but it's not going to be the last, but look, Crocker. Imagine if he never fought again, but he had this night, you know, special for him. You know, he had the open media workout, he's had a lot of cameras, a lot of love, a lot of interviews, and then he's got in there and he's had a real good fight. He's going to get tagged in a lot of reels now, he's going to look the bollocks. It ain't his last fight, but I'm saying if it was, then he'd have something to leave in boxing and be proud of. And then some people that are not on his level, they won't get that, you know what I mean? So it's nice to give someone that chance, that opportunity, and now, using Crocker as an example, he could go on to something amazing there, you know, because that's going to push him up, isn't it? It's going to get him in the super light rankings, and listen, he'll just beat a very good boxer.
You'd probably kill me if I didn't mention him, but Dan Francis, who helped us get up here tonight. How are you feeling in terms of his matchmaking for these fights? Because I think it was a really good night of fights overall across the whole card.
Yeah, it's good. It's nice for someone to take a bit of pressure off me. He come in, he's matched a few good fights, cost me a lot of money though, he has. But he's been good, it's been good to have. He got a bit excited in there for the Welsh lot, sorry. But no, he done really well, he should be proud of himself.
And in terms of future shows, what have you got planned coming up now?
Yeah, so June the 29th, we've got at the moment 10 50-50s. But what it is, when I put on a show, you've seen the level, I get a lot of people asked to come on. So I'm like, you can come on if you fight a 50-50, then they plonk themselves in the show, then I get someone in, I say, well, there's someone you can fight, do you want to fight him, yes or no? If they say no, then I'll chuck them to Dan and Dan can match them. But at the moment, listen, it's real good, and he was matchmaking on the front and second row of the fight. People were coming down to try call people out, and he was doing his business, so it's working really well, to be fair, yeah.
Yeah, you can definitely see why these fighters want to get involved in these events. In terms of future plans, there's a 5v5 card coming up in June. Any plans for you to try and get a 5v5? No boxer, maybe, something like that in the UK?
Well, I would like to do it with one of the big boys, but in all fairness, they're never going to want to come against me because they put thousands into their boxers, whereas I'm on ticket deals. So they'd lose out. And then all the other small hall promoters, they're doing a few 5v5s. I think they're doing a 10v10. But if I'm being honest, I don't need to. I've got 10v10s, 50-50s already. They're just doing it not only reason, but they're just doing it for the 50-50s and not having to pay. Yeah.
So you're clearly happy with the events you're putting on. It was a great night tonight. Just want to talk about quickly Ben Crocker and Stelios Papadopoulos, probably fight of the night. What did you think of that fight?
Well, listen, I fought first 3 rounds to Ben and then 5 to Stelios, but then a knockdown, so I had it as a draw. But I can't argue, you know, there's very close rounds, and then the second round could have been a 10-8 as well, because he didn't drop him, but he was nearly out on his feet, and it was that good of a round that it could have been a 10-8. So it was very close. I can't wait to go and watch it back, if I'm being honest, and I could be up here and being wrong, but I did it as a close fight. I wanted it to be a draw as a promoter because I wanted to put it on again. Now, if I'm Crocker, I wouldn't take that again because it was too close and I'd want to move on. You know, but I do think another fight at this weight for him, and he probably wouldn't have got tired as much towards the end. But what a test for him, because Stelios he's a machine, wasn't he? The way he come back there, he's a really good fighter, and a bit gutted for him. He was in pieces because he come to England, train, sleep, eat, box, that's it, and then go home by himself every night to an Airbnb. You know, he had no friends, no family, didn't speak to anyone in the gym, real loner, if I'm being honest, and sad for him to lose, but that's boxing, and Ben deserved it as well. So I'm sure Ben's got a story that he's been good. You know, so.
Yeah, speaking on the fight, Ben and Gary Lockett both felt that the fight should have been stopped towards the end of the second round. Do you agree with that in terms of how it was going?
Could have given him a standing count. Could have. But if it should have been stopped, and then he come back and for me won all the later rounds, then it shows that he didn't really need to stop it. But it was a great fight, and I obviously respect Gary Lockett's opinion because he's massive in boxing and he is a legend. And I used to get nervous speaking to him, but now I'm all right.
And in terms of Stelios, he obviously, even though he didn't win the fight tonight, he showed his talent and how good of a fighter he is. Do you expect to see him back on one of your shows in the future?
Yeah, 100%. Like, he's training in Essex, so the door's always open for him. I don't think many people want to fight him. Like now, I don't think many people want to fight Crocker. This is what you come up against in this game, you know. But I'm sure, listen, the door's open for both of them. Door's open.
And talking about fighters, I don't think many people are going to want to come up against. Main event tonight, Contantin Ursu. He spoke to us quickly. He said he struggles to get fights. You said earlier how much he's one of your favourite fighters. How impressive was he tonight?
Yeah, when the first body shot and he dropped him, I was like, oh, what are you doing? You've got to go easy. And he said, I wanted to break his jaw, I wanted to break him up, but if I do stuff like that, no one's going to fight me. So he holds back. He's got another level in him, and you see like the anger and the viciousness in him. He's a star quality as well, you know, so very flashy if he wants to be. And I can't help but I watch him, I just smile, I enjoy it, I feel lucky that he's on my show. And he said to me before the fight, round 3, I'm going to stop him, and he stopped him in round 3.
And in terms of his career, how far do you think he could go?
All the way. I don't see what stops him. All the way, but the problem is in boxing is you have to make yourself in them positions, because if you're just floating around, no one's going to choose to fight him, because all the stories, ask Gary knows him, Gary knows about him, you know. There's stories about him, Ben knows about him, everyone knows about him. They said, no, we don't want to spar him, you know, they don't want him in, they don't want to spar him, so fighting him, they're not going to want to do it because they're going to lose their career.
Thank you very much for having us tonight. We're looking forward to coming back to another show in the future, and thank you very much for speaking with us.
It's been good. Cheers.